Hey guys, Austin here with the Sun and Paleo-Zoo-Keeper Rant. This one's a doozy, guys. I'm pretty sure none of you have known, but I just woke up this morning and I had to make a video about this quickly. Colossal sciences, they did it. They resurrected an extinct species. Not the thylacine, not the dodo, not the mammoth, none of those yet. But according to what they claimed, they resurrected the dire wolf. The dire wolf. Not the same dire wolf you see in Game of Thrones, but the animal that inspired it, the Ice Age dire wolf. They claim to have brought it back. Meet Remus and Romulus. These two wolf pups were born on October of last year, resurrected by Colossal Biosciences. And as you can tell, this is definitely getting me wound up. As one can tell, if this is definitely the case, and not exactly, and not a late April Fool's prank, then the dire wolf from the Ice Age that died out tens of thousands of years ago, has been resurrected and is able to walk again. And this has gotten me a lot of questions about this whole thing. Now, as the question stands as follows: is that, as you saw in the kind of little clip, when they're born and they're already getting pretty big at this point, they're white. Now, this has got me some questions. Like, if these are recreated from the genome of the direwolf, why is it so white? I mean, it's not a joke thing, but it's actually interesting because is this because of the effects of the direwolf genome, or is it like a hangover from the gray wolf genome that they used? Now, I'm sorry I didn't mention this earlier, but apparently, according to Colossal Biosciences, they used the gray wolf as the basal genome for recreating the dire wolf. They take, just much like how they were planning on doing with Asian elephants for the woolly mammoth and the modern marsupials for the thylacine. They used the genome of a modern gray wolf and edit it, like basic cut and paste, with genomes found from dire wolves. Now, this definitely gives me some questions. Like, not on the rewilding potential of direwolves, because there are definitely potentials. Like, they can hunt the bison in Yellowstone. They could go after the mustangs and burros in Nevada. They could even go after the feral pigs in Florida and the other southern states. There's definitely good potential in that. What does concern me is that they used the basal genome of a gray wolf. Now, there is a project that collected the genome of many direwolf specimens for their studies, and when they compared it to the genomes of other of canids, they found something that's a little bit surprising. Now, according to that study, turns out the dire wolf is actually more closely related to South American canids, like the main wolf and jackals, rather than wolves, coyotes, and domesticated dogs. So, of course, this is immensely surprising. Now, as you can tell, it probably would have been better to make it an actual a pure, like, closer dire wolf if they used a made wolf, for example, as the basal genome. So they went for the gray wolf. Now, mind you, there is some wiggle room. While they're not that closely related, they are still within the same canine family tree. Like, basically, like a dire wolf is more closely to a gray wolf than a dire wolf is to a cat, for example. Now, this could work, and some say there is some convergence between the dire wolf and the gray wolf. But this is definitely going to be a bit of a curious ordeal since, like mentioned, they're more closely related to like the Maine wolves and jackals than they are to gray wolves and coyotes. And this can definitely affect like how their behavior and maybe even their ecology to an extent. And this could probably even affect a potential crossbreeding between these dire wolves and modern day gray wolves. Since, according to that genetic study I mentioned, there was no evidence of dire wolves and gray wolves back in the end of the Ice Age crossbreeding with each other, like how wolves, coyotes, and even later domesticated dogs do today. But if the base, since the basal genome is mostly of a gray wolf, this could mean that some of the behaviors that these dire wolves would express are different than the ones that ancient dire wolves would have done. This is basically kind of like the ship of Theseus debate. So we're gonna have to see on how this goes, but part of me is concerned that well, we definitely get something that is very similar to a dire wolf, but I feel that at the same time it's gonna also have a lot of differences as well. And it actually pains me to say this, but in some ways, these dire wolves might be more like dire mutts. And I know I hate that. I hate that thought. I just hate it, and I can't. And no hatred towards these resurrected dire wolves. No hatred to them at all. They're just animals. They didn't ask to be brought up in the way they were. They're just they were just brought into the world, and I would not hate them. I would not persecute them. I would not do anything bad to them. They're just animals. I mean, they're not Jurassic Park monsters going out to kill you. They're just animals, and they're just wolves. A wolf of a different type, but a wolf all the same. And we should not do any sort of hatred and defaming them. Nothing like that at all. I would like to hear more from Colossal Biosciences on like how much of the DNA, the genome of the gray wolf was modified with the dire wolf, and hopefully be able to figure out like how, like, even though we know that they are distantly related to the gray wolf, just how distant are they? Because there is wiggle room if, like, for example, if the dire wolf shared like 90 like 95% of the like if the or sorry, got it mixed up. If the dire wolf shares like 5% of the gray wolf's DNA, and they modified 95% of the gray wolf's DNA to make these dire wolves, then that might be a little some wiggle room. But this is definitely going to be an interesting process as we go, and we're definitely going to see. You need to be able to see and watch as these dire wolves grow. So this is definitely going to be interesting, but it's definitely we're in the dawn of a whole new era and potential conservation. The first, de-extinction, that didn't involve it resulting in a dead offspring, like the Iberian ibex, which many of you probably know, or the buccardo is probably the better name for them, was cloned from the last individual, but died of a lung defect as a few minutes after it was born. But now, if this is to be true, this is the first successful, completely successful de-extinction that is ever done, and makes sense that it'll be a dire wolf. And well, I definitely know for certain that if you guys are able to sponsor some dire wolf videos, whether it's on raising them in captivity or even potentially really rewilding them to the wild, definitely do that. That would be great. Man, this is definitely going to be big, guys. This is big. Whew. I know this is not your usual kind of rant video, but I just could not wait and to do one as soon as I heard about this. And what you guys think about this? Leave in the comment section down below. Like, subscribe, and check out Colossal Biosciences to learn more about it.